What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back. It is a beautiful Memorial Day. God bless all of our fallen, and let us not forget the reason we enjoy the freedoms that we do have. I generally usually spend my Memorial Day watching documentaries and just kind of remembering all the soldiers and all the men and women throughout American history that have lost their lives, in the defense of our nation and our republic. With that being said, I do want to get into something. I've kind of thought about this a little bit. I'm going to start my PAULY'S Auto Live. I was going to call it Politics Live on Thursday nights. I can't use that name because Pauly Shore, the actor, has already used that out there, and I don't want to steal someone else's idea. Okay, so I'm scratching that. It's just going to be PAULY'S Auto Live Thursday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Central Time. Stop by, please, and join us with that. Something new, something I'm starting, and where it's going to go, I don't know, but it's an endeavor I'm going to take on. Okay. With that being said, I kind of want to make maybe one video. I'm going to try to make one video from the previous show to the new show, kind of capturing my thoughts, my ideas ahead of time to really get the ball rolling and get the thought process rolling on what I want to discuss and what I want to talk about. So with that being said, let's get into it. The one thing I want to talk about right now is I want to talk about, you see a lot of videos out there. Should I become a technician in 2022? Should I become a technician in 2021? Should I become a technician, automotive technician, right? So this is going to be kind of similar in that aspect, but I'm not really going to touch on the same things that most do, because I don't really think that's appropriate to say should I. What really does the industry or the repair industry for automotive really look like beyond 2022? I mean, where are we headed as an industry moving into the future based on economic conditions, social conditions, civil discourse, education, leadership, just in general, where is the industry headed in this man's opinion? Well, I can tell you what I see, and I'm a pretty intuitive individual. What I see happening, and I've talked about this with many coworkers, I've touched on some of it in this on this channel, in other topics, but where I see it going as a future, as far as the future is concerned, is really going to depend on what's going on currently. We hear a lot about the right to work, or whatever the hell they want to call it, in this industry, like, the dealers and the manufacturers protect their information from the private sector, or the private shops, or the independent shops. And then you have some out there that are advocating, well, the future is to go solo or mobile or whatever. I'm not here to discredit any of those endeavors, but what I will say, let's just kind of focus in on dealership atmosphere and what it looks like, in my opinion, in the future, and what I'm seeing on the ground as it is. I see the future of the dealership repair aspects as such, and the independent will probably kind of follow in suit, but here's what I'm seeing. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a very, very small service staff. You're not going to see the a large number of technicians working in the same building. And now some are going to say, well, that's impossible because you got so many cars on the road. How are you supposed to service them all? Who said that they're interested in servicing them all? When you look at the way the government, the way society is going with this, we want to go all electric. We want to basically make it very expensive for you to own a vehicle and drive that vehicle, whether it be gas, electric, whatever. Transportation is going to become somewhat of a very far and few between commodity, in my opinion. They want people to take public transportation. Whether you like it or not, agree with it or not, that's where we're headed, in my opinion. So what you're going to see is you're not going to see volume like you used to have. Old dogs will never learn new tricks sometimes. They try to do old tactics that just don't work. Let's start promoting AC system services during the AC season in these colder climate areas or whatever, right? Let's start promoting more flushes, more routine maintenance. I think that will become very important in the future. I think that scheduled maintenance will be a big thing. You just will not need the staffing like you used to, because what they're going to do is eventually the noose has to be tightened to make it affordable and make it profitable. The individuals who will choose or decide to take their vehicle to a dealership platform are going to be high-end. I don't want to do the work myself. I can afford to pay the price of labor. I can afford to pay the high costs of a dealership, and I just don't care. Okay, money is not a factor here. For the individuals who can't afford that, for your average, income-based individual out there in America, this is going to be an issue because they're not going to be able to afford having that specialized technician at a dealership take care of their problem unless it's covered under some kind of warranty. Okay, warranty will become a big thing. But with warranty work, the technician who is doing those warranty jobs will have to be very skilled. Not so much, well, they'll have to be very well-rounded, okay? The technician of the future, in my opinion, will be somebody who can tear down a transmission and rebuild it, tear down a rear end and rebuild it, diagnose all the problems associated with that kind of driveline concern, be able to take apart an interior and understand how to replace X, Y, and Z, or diagnose X, Y, and Z case. So it's really going to be a very well-rounded technician. They are going to have to be skilled in all the areas, because not only are they responsible for that, but they're also going to be responsible for the few individual technicians that are actually more the nuts and bolts kind of technicians working there to hammer out that kind of work. What I mean by this is vehicle comes in with a HVAC concern. Lead technician or well-rounded master technician, whatever you want to call them, diagnostician, will diagnose the concern and get everything in order for that job to be successful from start to finish. And then it is going to get handed off to the nuts and bolts guy, who will be paid a less of a salary to just basically repair the vehicle, and the Q&A or the quality control will fall back on the one who diagnosed it to confirm repair has been made, everything is good, documentation's all in order, and then vehicle will be returned. This is what I see in the future. I see highly skilled, and I see less skilled but learning to become higher skilled. But I see fewer need for bodies or manpower because they can be picky. Now, when it comes to the independent side or the private shop side, they will continue to be busy. They will stay high volume. You will have older vehicles that are being phased out by design. The parts availability will be a factor. And that's another aspect I'd like to touch on is supply chain issues, which are also driving the train on this. They are going to start pulling back on, kind of like cash for clunkers, okay? They are going to start pulling back on availability of parts to repair older vehicles so they can push them vehicles out of the market and make it more and more difficult to repair them by design. Whether or not you agree with it is irrelevant, because this has nothing to do with whether or not you agree with it. This has to do with what's going to happen. So if you own, let's say, a 2007, and you're like, I really like this vehicle because I know how to fix it, I know how to do all this, well, that's cool, and I'm glad, and I understand where you're coming from, but in the future, it's going to be increasingly difficult for you to get parts for that vehicle by design. They're going to force you into a newer car, and if you can't afford to buy a newer car, you will be forced into something that they decide is economical. Like, for example, you won't own a car. You will pay a fee to your county local authority. And now, don't get me wrong. This is creepy, but it's coming. It's coming for an electric vehicle to pick you up and transport you to work. Like, kind of like you lease your phone, right? You lease a phone for a service, right? And the transportation will become the same thing. In order for you to get from your home, you will pay a fee, monthly fee, to either a private entity, most likely not a private entity, because the government is headed towards a socialist, very centralized, government-controlled society. And this is something that I'm not going to get into depth on politics quite yet for my safety. Literally. They are going to push this, and this is going to be the future of where we're headed. General Motors, just calling them out as an example, Tesla. Let's look at General Motors and Tesla, okay? General Motors is trying to move all electric by X date, right? Tesla's already there. Tesla's already got the technology. They've already got the ability to make this possible economically for most people. Why is Tesla getting left in the dark? Private. Elon Musk is a private businessman and doesn't want to drink the Kool-Aid of the central government. General Motors is a corporation. General Motors has ties to certain entities within our central government, our federal government. So there is a incentive to play ball or get the hell off the team kind of aspect. So this is what's coming. So as a technician, if you want to make money and you want to be successful in the future, you can stick to the independent side and ride that train out. For the long term, as far as business ownership goes, you will always be busy as long as you're able to think outside the box in the independent private sector. Okay, that'll never go away. However, when it comes to automotive repair, it's going to become increasingly difficult. We're already seeing it, for you to do repairs because you don't have the technology or the capability to do so. Now, some will argue, well, you can certainly buy your own factory scan tool. Yes, right now. But I'm going to tell you that's not going to be the case, because the argument is going to be made down the road that safety is an issue. Qualifications are an issue. So in order for you as a private shop to do work on an automated driver assist system on a modern technology car, you are going to have to prove that you have certified technicians that, in the name of public safety, because that's how they're going to run this train, to do those repairs. And not only that, you're going to have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on the technology required in order for you to do calibrations, in order for you to do programming, in order for you to do any of this. Which, by the way, is going to be an argument because manufacturers own the technology, not you. And you can lobby, you can fight in Congress for your right to repair all you want, but at the end of the day, you don't own the technology. You don't own the information. Okay? So you will lose. I'm just telling you facts. You can disagree with me all you want, but that's facts. So we're already starting to see this with scan tools. Certain aftermarket scan tools work on this, and some work on this, and some work on that. So it's getting increasingly difficult to fix cars because the technology is moving so fast by design, and the technician's skill level hasn't caught up. Okay, so that's where I see it going as a future. As far as pay is concerned, it's really going to depend on what you're doing and what your capabilities are. If you're a R&R replacement type individual, yes, you'll get paid well, but you will not get paid as well as the thinker. You will not get paid as much as the doctor, so to speak. The doctor is going to make the money. The assistant to the doctor is going to be learning so that they can take that doctor's position down the road. Again, staffing will shrink. Same with service staff, advisors, and stuff like that. You're going to see a shrink in that. Management will always be there. They will always have high, heavy-end leadership, quote-unquote, up at the top. That's always been that way. It always will be. But when it comes to servicing vehicles, there will not be as much of a demand for that skilled trade. Now, some are going to say, you're so off topic, Pauly. Am I off topic? Because you got to remember what they're trying to push here. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It certainly is going to take time. And unless there's some kind of major political movement to change the course of our country, which you're kind of seeing already, you are not stopping anything. Okay? This is coming worldwide. The elites, or the, as they would call them, the elites, the people with money, will have private access to transportation. They will be able to own old cars and still be able to drive classics and stuff like that because they got money. It's really going to come down to what you own, what you have in terms of wealth. And that's going to really depend on generational wealth because the youth in this country are set up for failure. You are essentially going to have to rely on generational wealth if you want to make it in the future. And even that's a threat, under attack, because where is your generational wealth invested? Is it invested in the stock market? Because that's volatile. I mean, the stock market could crash tomorrow, and then there goes your generational wealth. So your wealth better be invested in the right things, because wealth is only as good as scarcity. So, for example, if I have all my wealth invested in precious metals, I better have those physical precious metals in my possession. Land is a scarce thing. Resources are a scarce thing, so therefore that will be where the money's at. A classic old car will be worth money. Why? Because it's scarce, it's rare. So people with a lot of wealth will want those rare things. So quality over quantity. Okay, people are going to look for original things. They're going to want things that are not, I should say. So this is kind of where my mind goes with things. They're going to want something that somebody else is not able to get. So, for example, they don't make. Not everyone can have this T-shirt. Okay, this T-shirt is original. I'm just using my shirt as an example. It's not. Okay, it's not. But say this is an original T-shirt. This is authentic. It's got a brand on it, and there's no way to replicate it. That will be valuable. Okay, that will become very valuable because not everyone has it. Okay, so something to think about, something to keep in mind. I'm going to touch on more of this type of stuff. It's going to get a little in the weeds a lot of times, but I think it's important to talk about. And if you're looking to become an automotive technician in the future, we need to look at education and where education is headed, because education is also a different, it's a whole different topic. So thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy your Memorial Day.